In the previous video, I mentioned that when developing for the mobile web, you basically have two options. You can either add mobile-specific views to your existing application, or you can create a new mobile application that is completely separate from the application that serves desktop users. In this video, I'll cover the first approach by adding mobile features to our existing site. We'll jump right into ASP.NET MVC's first mobile feature, which allows you to display mobile-specific versions of your desktop views simply by naming them appropriately. To begin, pick a desktop view and make a copy of it. For example, copy the index.cshtml view in the auctions folder and rename it to index.mobile.cshtml to indicate that it is a mobile-specific view. Now, to distinguish our mobile view from the normal one, we can make a few changes to it. First, let's change the heading in the mobile view to something different than the desktop view. Next, let's remove the sidebar section and the featured section. We don't really have enough room for them on mobile devices. Finally, since we no longer have that sidebar, let's remove the reference to that sidebar layout that we added earlier. With these changes in place, let's go ahead and open up Internet Explorer. Then, change our user agent to pretend like we're an iPhone. Now we can navigate to the auctions page and see that it's showing our new mobile view. We can also make sure our desktop page still works by navigating to the same page in a desktop browser. Here you can see it looks exactly as it did before. This all works because the ASP.NET MVC framework is able to detect the fact that the browser making the request is a mobile browser, so it loads the appropriate view. What's more, this behavior doesn't just apply to views. It also extends to layouts and partial views as well. So let's take the same steps to create a mobile layout for our site. To do this, copy the _.layout file and rename it to _layout.mobile.cshtml, just as we did with the regular view. Now we can customize this layout to target mobile views. Here I'm pasting in a slimmed-down version of the layout that is better optimized for mobile browsers. And now, without having to do anything more, ASP.NET MVC will automatically use this layout on any page whenever a mobile device is detected. You may have noticed how, in the absence of a mobile view, ASP.NET MVC renders the desktop view in a mobile layout, much like the home page that I'm showing now. Adhering to standards-based markup does help in displaying a somewhat usable view, but there may be cases where you never want mobile devices to see your desktop views. So you might want to turn this feature off. In order to accomplish this, set the displayModeProvider.instance.requireConsistentDisplayMode flag to true in your view or layout. This will disable any default or non-mobile view from rendering inside a mobile layout. Whenever you provide a mobile-specific version of your website, it's generally a good idea to provide users with the ability to switch to the full site should they feel the need to. Notice how I've added a link to the bottom of the mobile view that says Desktop Site. The action it links to doesn't currently exist yet, but let's go ahead and create it now. This method will take advantage of ASP.NET MVC's Clear Overridden Browser and Set Overridden Browser helper methods. These are extension methods that are in the system.web.webpages namespace, so I'll have to add that reference first. When we first enter this action, the first thing we'll want to do is clear any overridden browser settings we might have done previously. Then I'll use the Set Overridden Browser helper to switch to mobile mode or desktop mode, depending on what the user is requesting. I've set the mobile action parameter to default to false. When we're done setting the browser settings, we'll redirect the user back to where they came from. Once we're in desktop mode, I haven't provided a link to go back into mobile mode. But you can manually visit the switch view action and specify mobile equals true. Be sure to also specify the return URL parameter so that ASP.NET MVC knows where to send you back to. You can take mobile browser detection one step further by using ASP.NET MVC's display mode feature to target specific mobile devices rather than just mobile devices in general. A simple example of this feature would be to create separate views for the iPhone, which has a smaller screen, and the iPad, which sports a larger display than phones, but a smaller one than desktops. Creating different views for specific devices allows us to create rich user experience that are customized to each device's capabilities. To use the Display Modes feature, we'll need to register the display modes when the application starts up. To do this, we'll create a new class in the App Start folder named Display Modes. Then, I'll populate it with this code. Here, we're adding specific display modes for the iPhone and the iPad. These display modes look at the user agent string on the request to see where it's coming from. Then we can go into global.asax.cs and update the application start method to execute this new static method. Now, create an iPhone-specific view by copying the index.mobile.cshtml and renaming it to index.iphone.cshtml. Then, change the title to Auctions iPhone View to distinguish it from the default mobile view. Likewise, we can create another copy of index.mobile.cshtml and rename it to index.ipad.cshtml to make an iPad version. Now, we can recompile our site and visit our auctions page. When we change our user agent string to emulate an iPad and refresh the page, we can see our iPad view. When we do the same with the iPhone user agent string, we can see our iPhone view. In this video, I showed you how to use a few of ASP.NET MVC's mobile features to present your website's content differently to mobile browsers. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the ASP.NET MVC mobile website template to create a brand new website from scratch that only exists to target mobile website users.